A sixth-generation Hollywood horse trainer and his sister began to experience some unexplained disturbances on their ranch after their father dies in a freak accident. Jordan Peele's third film isn't going to be a critical darling and instant classic like Get Out. It isn't going to satisfy horror hounds like us, but I think it probably is the most easily accessible and will have the most universal appeal of all of Peele's filmography. While it's really nothing like a Spielberg movie, it seems to be heavily influenced by some of those films. It's a big budget blockbuster with great characters, and there are plenty of opportunities to discuss what happened and try to make sense of the events of the film. I would call Nope a sci-fi film, although there are some moments of really well done suspense and terror. Think of the scene with the T-Rex in Jurassic Park. That scene is pretty much the peak of suspense and terror, but the overall movie is just an adventure film. There are at least 3 such scenes in Nope where Peele could have taken the movie in a far different direction, and it would have leaned way more into the horror genre. Now, I still think Jordan Peele is a director to watch, but I do think that some of his choices here maybe tried a bit too hard to mean something. Some of those choices made him feel more like a late 2000s M. Night Shyamalan and less like a 1950s, 1960s Alfred Hitchcock. There's an entire subplot with a chimpanzee here that felt like it was going to amount to a lot more than it actually did. Now, that being said, some of those scenes were the most intense scenes in the entire movie. There were also a couple of minor characters, one being a man on a motorcycle and one being an award-winning cinematographer, who just felt forced, very unrealistic, and didn't really add anything to the movie or its overall theme. Now, I get that the point of these characters was to drive home the movie's theme, that doing whatever it takes to get that perfect shot, the Oprah shot as they keep referring it to throughout the movie, can be dangerous and maybe not worth it. It kind of feels like a cautionary tale for the TikTok generation. Now, it's definitely possible that I'm just not smart enough to pick up on the other symbolism in the movie, but the theme just doesn't seem as universal or as important as the race and class themes of Get Out and Us. Now, visually, Nope was a masterclass in filmmaking. It has these great sweeping landscape shots that just pop off the screen, and the night scenes feel dark and spooky, but are always easy to tell exactly what's going on. The night scenes here feel much more well done than in most other modern movies. The visual style of Jordan Peele's movies may be his greatest strength as a filmmaker. Daniel Kaluuya is great as Otis Jr., aka OJ, in Nope. We know that he can act and show emotion, as he is a recent Oscar winner, so Peele's choice to make him nearly emotionless here was definitely done deliberately. He just never seemed to get spooked, and a lot of the movie he just moves so slow, it kind of felt like he was just trying to slow the pace of the film. But maybe that's the personality needed to be a horse trainer, as to not scare the horses. It took probably 30 minutes for things to really get going in Nope, and the whole time I was wondering what kind of movie was this going to be. But once OJ's sister Emerald, portrayed by Keke Palmer, shows up, she just brought up the whole energy of the movie. And then when OJ and Emerald meet Angel, things pick up even more. Nope features one of my favorite montage types, the one like in A Nightmare on Elm Street or the one in Home Alone, where people turn into MacGyver and just booby trap their house to try to catch something or someone who seems impossible to stop. And the climax seemed to go on way too long in Nope, but it kept me on the edge of my seat the whole time, so it did its job. Now, I'm not sure where I would rank this with Peele's other 2 films, but I can confidently say I don't think it's going to be quite as popular with film nerds as his other 2 movies, but it's worth watching at least once, and it's one that's easy to recommend because it isn't as dark or divisive as Get Out or Us. I'm not sure that Nope stuck the landing, and most of the symbolism did seem a little forced to me, but it was still a great, entertaining, good time at the movies popcorn flick. Cheesy tourist trap amusement parks, fist bumping a chimp, inflatable tube men, Porter Wagoner style suits, riding a horse while wearing a Scorpion King hoodie, shopping for some new electronics.